What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? Cosmic Harry here, rolling out in my E25, and today I'm going to be talking about how I play my E25, the setup that I have, all the bells and whistles and gizmos and everything that I have on my E25, my beloved E25, a tank which I've had forever. I purchased it on when it was initially released, and I've not looked back. If you take a look at my most played tanks, the top 5 they're all basically tier 10s, apart from one tank which is at tier 7, which is kind of odd when you kind of think about it, and it is my beloved E25. Why do I play this tank? Because it is a fantastic machine, and it's for those of you that have not purchased an E25 yet to play in an E25, I'm definitely 100% jealous, because you guys have yet to experience the joy, the fun that it is, you know, to play in this beautiful beast of a machine, which is still currently available in the regular tech tree for a princely sum of 6,700 gold, and which keep in mind, this tank has been completely removed on the PC version, you know, because you know, we do everything completely different compared to the PC version. We whatever they do, we do not do, and you know, well, you know, whatever. Each to his own. But the E25, how do I play it? Well, you know, what's this tank about? You know, maybe some of you have yet to purchase one. Maybe some of you have heard about it and wondering should you get one and all of that jazz. But guaranteed, rolling out in the E25, spending an evening playing in E25 is one of the most fun things you can do on World of Tanks, Xbox or PS4, absolutely. So what is the E25? The E25 is a tier 7 German TD premium tank, and it gets preferential matchmaking, which means it's either going to be top tier or it's going to roll out against tier 8. You'll never ever get to see, you know, tier 9s unless you, of course, fail platoon, etc, etc. And so that is one of, you know, the big bonuses of this tank. It gets preferential matchmaking, and it's 100% needed in the current state that it's in, you know, with the penetration values, etc, etc. But anyhow, this tank is has an outstanding speed and mobility. You know, that's one of the first things you need to know about it. It's a very maneuverable. Of course, it is a forward-facing TD. So you know, you have to take that into consideration. The second thing is it's tiny. It's small size. It's a lot of people refer to this thing as the cockroach tank, because it genuinely does look like a little cockroach scuttling around you know, the battlefield, and it's a very, very hard tank to nail down. Many a times I've been left last man standing, and the enemy reds just have such a tough time, you know, trying to pen me, trying to catch me out due to my speed, due to my maneuverability, etc, etc. Another thing that it is important when we're talking about the small size of this tank is due to the tiny size, you can park right next to certain enemy tanks. Not all enemy tanks, but especially, for instance, Japanese heavies and Soviet heavies, and you are completely immune to their gun due to the fact that they simply don't have the gun depression to touch you, to scratch your tank, you know. But at the same time, be weary of doing this, you know, approach with caution, because the slightest tap and you're going to incur a whole buttload of damage. So always be wary of, you know, performing these maneuvers. That's down to your small size and your lack of armor. But the two best features of the E25 are its gun, which is kind of, for somebody who's not familiar with the E25 would kind of scratch their head and say, the gun, 150 pen at tier 7, and it's the camo values of the tank, which are fantastic, either stationary or non-stationary. They're just fantastic. Those are the two fun factors which make this tank, you know, one of the most fun tanks to play in. It basically it has a 75mm caliber gun, and it's basically death of 1,000 needles. It only puts out a puny 155 alpha, and the penetration is a abysmal 150, and a lot of people would say that is god awful, terrible, abysmal, horrible. How can you roll out in a tier 7 even with preferential matchmaking with only 150 penetration? Keep in mind, for tier 7 TDs, average pen is around 180, 190, something like that, along those lines. But 150 pen for a TD is definitely down in the tier 5 range. So that, you know, that needs basically what this is basically it's a balancing factor. You know, 100%. That's what's happening here. It's the Wargaming are attempting, and I say the word attempting, to balance the tank with a very, very low penetration. This is the lowest tier 7 TD penetration that you get, basically. Nobody comes close to 150 at tier 7 when it comes to the TDs. But you can work with that because, as you can see up on screen, you can load premiums and premiums, you know, are 198. But at the same time, 150 penetration is not the end of the world due to the fact that you have this high camo factor. And because you have this high camo factor, you don't get lit up, you don't get spotted, and you have the time to aim in and get those weak spots, get those lower plates, you know, get those shots in where they're supposed to go, even though you have this very, very low 150 penetration. Because you have the time to take those shots, and keep in mind it's a highly accurate gun. I think it's 0.29, 0.3, something along those lines, but it's a very accurate gun. And if you miss with one shot, there's always another shot, because every 2-3 seconds you're going to be pumping out those shots. You know, the rate of fire on the gun is astronomical, fantastic, superb. But keep in mind, at the same time, you know, you only get 60 rounds. And you might say to yourself, that is a buttload of rounds. There's plenty of rounds for me, you know, 60 rounds. So many tanks have got 60, 80, 50 rounds, and you never run out. Trust me, in the E25, you will run out. Especially if you favor using the standard ammunition. Because even though you have that fantastic accuracy, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work, but it's okay. I bounced, I didn't get the shot where I needed to. Here comes another shot within 2-3 seconds, and here comes another shot in 2-3 seconds. So before you know it, you know, you've blasted through 1/3 of your ammo, and lo and behold, you're only 2-3 minutes into the game. This is why I carry, and I never used to do this, you know, but the setup I currently have, which is for, you know, 20, 40 and 0, basically works for me. I was kind of looking at my the stats on my E25. I was looking at some old gameplay, and basically on average I would shoot about I don't know, around 40 shots, and only 20 of them would pen. So 50% accuracy isn't that great on such an accurate gun. And basically I decided to remedy that. You know, what would this tank be like if I loaded a little bit more premium? You know, a little bit more premium. It's a little bit scumbaggy, I have to agree 100%, but hey, if it works, it works, and it definitely works. And you're not gonna basically lose that much silver, but you, at the same time, you're not gonna make that much silver. You know, I wouldn't say you're breaking even. I'd say it's, you know, a few levels above that, but very rarely do I lose money. You know, it's a premium tack at the end of the day, and because you have an accurate gun and you have guaranteed pen most of the time, you know, you pen those shots, so you're making money. End of story. So the gun is fantastic. The gun is fantastic. We have speed, we have mobility, we have size, we have all these factors on our side. But the camo values, there's nothing like rolling out in this tank and just sitting in the bush, and camping that bush, and being one with that bush, and just annihilating the Reds. Who are just, they don't even notice, they don't even see, they don't because it's death of 1,000 needles. They don't even notice that you know, the 135 damage being inflicted, you know, one at a time, until it's too late. You know, it'd be different if you're pumping at 250, 300 alpha. Then they kind of, I think they would sit up and listen and take notice, take heed of who's shooting at me. But they don't notice until it's too late, basically. That's the trick when it comes to rolling out in the E25. And now keep in mind, we need to discuss this is my E25. You know, my E25 is kind of different from your regular standard E25. I have a seasoned crew. I've got a, you know, set up to the max, where everything is just blasting out, you know, on all cylinders, 100% to the max. Every single factor of this tank is at its maximum setting, basically. So what do I have installed on my E25? When it comes to the focus on my E25 is more so on the camo values than the gun. I don't have actually any kind of equipment installed that would improve the rate of fire at all. Yeah, apart from vents. You know, vents will improve my rate of fire. But in my opinion, when it comes to my E25, it's all about increasing the camo values of the tank, you know. So first of all, when it comes to the crew, I have everything that's needed. I have green thumb, I have silent driving, I have muffled shots. I also have you know, camo net as equipment. I have permanent camo on the actual tank, which also increases the tank's camo. I think it's by 5%, something along those lines. The camo skill, I mentioned improved vents, brothers in arms, which improves everything in general. Chocolate as well, I have in as well, and I'm trying to remember. Basically, I have, you know, everything when it comes to camo. And what this does is just shoots the camo levels of the tank, you know, into the stratosphere. It goes basically, if I'm looking online here, with a regular E25, the camo level stationary is set at a factor of 25. With all my bells and whistles and gizmos and etc, it goes from 25 to almost 70, so it almost triples it. Camo level on the move goes from 15, that's in a basic E25. With my setup, it goes up to 50, you know, 50, so a significant jump, and that's on the move. Camo level after shooting your gun, the E25's camo level drops down to 8, a factor of 8, almost a factor of 9. With my setup, it goes up to you know, a factor of 30. So these are significant jumps. You know, it almost becomes a different beast altogether. You know, this tank. You know, there's significant jumps in camo values and significant decreases in, you know, your camo level dropping down, you know, after you've shot your gun or after you've been on the move. So keep in mind, I also have binocs on the tank, and as I mentioned before, I have vents, and I have chocolates, and I have brothers in arms, and this increases the basic view range of the E25 is very paltry 360, but with my setup, it basically almost hits 500, so it goes from 360 to 500. And like I said, you know, the DPM of the tank, the base value is 2815, and because my focus isn't around increasing the DPM of the gun, but there are, you know, Brothers in Arms and Chocolate will increase it somewhat. It does go up to 3000, because in my personal opinion the DPM doesn't need to be any higher than it already is. It's me personally, I think if it was way too high, you just run out of ammo within the space of 2 minutes. So you got to be careful about shooting your gun. Less so with my setup, because you're rolling out, you know, with quite a few premiums. But with a normally E25 would basically run up around I don't know, 20, just like 10-15 premium rounds. But it's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. You run a hefty amount of standard ammo, you're gonna run the risk of bouncing quite a few shots, you know. So it's 100% up to you. Okay, hey ho, let's go. We are on Mountain Pass, Tier 8, Tier 7, Tier 6 match, and I'm gonna, in the initial stages of the game, I'm gonna perfectly place my tank, which is right here up on this cliff. So often you see tanks coming up here, and it's pointless. There's no point to the tanks, even TDs being up here. There's just no point, because as soon as you take that one shot, that very first shot, you get lit up. You have to pull back, you might receive some damage, and then you have to reposition your tank, and it's rinse and repeat, and it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. But when you're in the E25, yeah, it's a little bit different, you know, because as you can see with my current setup, I think even if it was a plain E25, you wouldn't get lit up. And this poor Mr. E8, he just does not stand a chance. You know, he genuinely doesn't stand a chance. Yeah, I was waiting for the gentleman to make himself known. 110. So this is a prime example of tanks that shouldn't be up here. Tanks that should be in, they just 100% shouldn't be up here. And not only, you can see I'm not getting lit up, but the thing is, shots coming in for this 110 are going to hit me. You know, they're going to miss him, they're going to bounce off him, and they're going to hit me. So there is that danger. So this is a perfect example of where to perfectly place a certain type of tank, and a perfect example of where not to place a certain type of tank. You know, this 110, God bless him. God bless him. It doesn't end. There's more. Yeah, there's more. You go, buddy. Go, rookie. Oh, and there's more. Yeah, there's more. Has to be more. Never ending. Yeah. So anyhow, a whole bunch of other reds get lit up, and you're gonna see me kind of. I'm gonna finally have to dab into my premium ammo, and you know, the shocks are accurate, but hitting those weak spots, it's kind of tough at these distances. But again, you know, if you're just a Tiger 1 and you're sitting out in the open, and it's just, yeah, you go, buddy, you go for it. But you're gonna see me in a moment. I'm gonna be hitting the 30 shell count. You know, I'm gonna be hitting 50% of my shells. So 50% of my shells used up, and we're only, you know, 3-4 minutes into the game. But this might kind of come across as worrying to some of you guys out there, but it's genuinely, it's not, you know, because if you know how to perfectly place your E25 in the initial stages of the game, you will find yourself taking the majority of your shots in the initial stages of the game. You will use up like 50% of your shells. Of course, you know, this 110 he's gonna now proceed to try and catch the scout in the heavy. Pardon me. But you will, in the initial stages of the game, you will use up the majority of your shots, because you should be placing your tank in a really advantageous position where you're not going to get lit up, and you're going to take a buttload of shots. You're going to get that initial, 10, 20 pens, those initial 10, 20 pens, and yeah, so in the initial stages of the game, it's very common to use up 30 to 40 of your shells and only have 20 shells left for the remainder of the battle, but when you come to those last 20 shells, there's less reds to deal with. As you can see, the majority of the team has been annihilated. These 2 free heavies to my left, my thinking was I needed to show them some respect, because if you notice, they were still on full health. This is a Brit heavy and the IS6. They were still on full health. Now, either that means they're really smart and they know they need to preserve their hit points for the end stages of the battle, which will give you a huge advantage. But at the same time, they might be complete idiots, stroke noobs, and they've just been camping in the back and sniping, like that 110, and that's how they've preserved their hit points. But until you establish what kind of players they are, you give them a wide berth. You show them respect. Artie shows up for the party. I'm not going to take him out. Do manage to pen him once, and now I kind of turn around to face the Brit Heavy and the IS6. Now, how to deal with these guys? I do have 2 mediums kind of closing in on their positions, from either side. But from the looks of it, I think they knew what they were doing, because they were kind of going hull down, etc, etc. And yeah, they do take out one of my mediums, the TVP, and now a CDC is going to engage him. So I reposition my tank to the back here, where I know I can snipe, not get lit up, take lots of lovely pot shots, and yeah, good to go. But at the same time, you can see these are decent players. Not, I haven't got a clue whether they're the greatest players, but they're staying hull down. It's 3 versus 3. So yeah, so the game is 100% still up in the air. I'm forced to reposition my tank. I have no choice. They're still in play. They're still duking it out with my CDC. The heavies, my heavy is duking it out with the heavy on the left. Managed to get stuck on a rock. I need to get in there, provide assistance to the CDC with some nice sniping shots, and he manages to take out the IS6. But the Brit Heavy rolls in and just takes him out. And this is the first time I've been up here. I don't know how I discovered this, but if it works, it works. Beautiful. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Absolutely. And not all that's left in it is a T29 duking it out with my heavy. And I can, T29, nice slow heavy. Absolutely. I look at his hit points. 100% I can do this. Easy peasy. By the time he kind of reacts to me, I've already knocked off 50% of his hit points. I track and keep him in place. Penny's upper plate. No problemo. I've got the height advantage. He doesn't even get one shot off at me. GG's. Beautiful game. Beautiful game in the E25. Managed to pick up Mastery, 4.5k damage, 5 kills, and 2.2 base XP. GG's. And last game, we are on Westfield, and I'm going to be positioning my tank kind of similar to how I did in the when I did that vid in the Borsig. I'm going to be cresting this ridge here, sitting in the bush, camping. This is a more of a classic sniping a TD type battle, I would say, 100%. So readjust my tank in order to take full advantage of the bush, and in the meantime a VKD appears out of nowhere. I kind of miss out on getting a few shots on him, but then a champion appears And yes, please. That'll do very nicely. Managed to track him, and we're going to keep him in place, and we're just going to annihilate the crap out of him. Absolutely. A very decent tank, champion. Appreciated Wargaming giving those out for free. And next in line, we're kind of looking for more tanks. Anything else out there? I was fully expecting here for some more tanks to be loaded up. You can see my view range is just like blaring out, like man, like a foghorn. It extends so friggin' far. And T-34. And this was, I kid you not, this was 100% planned. I didn't think he'd make it through the arches. It's pretty tough to make it through the arches at you know, high speed. And I knew he'd end up hitting the arches and I'd get the kill. And yeah, I'm not bragging. I'm just, that was actually planned. That's why I was holding my fire. I didn't think I could get him because he was going downhill so fast. I just said, okay, just wait. He's not going to make it through the arches. It's quite narrow. So anyhow. I kid you not. It was all planned. VKD is going to be a ever so slight pain in my butt, and the Reds are kind of on my left. They're being smart. They're being smart. Tiger 1 at this distance, or you know. And again, you can see I'm kind of plowing through my standard ammo. I do switch to premium. But, yeah, you switch to premium and you get instant results, so whatever. Skoda T24, no problemo. We switch back to regular rounds, and we pick up our second kill. I think that was a 12T. Jagdpanzer 4, do not want to switch to premium rounds for him, but you can see I'm getting a bounce or two. Yeah, see, I don't have crew voices turned on, but you can. There's a little sign that kind of shows when you get a bounce. I find it quite distracting. Now, what's happening here is basically I had to make a decision what to do. This position was not going to work anymore due to the fact that this VKD to my left was lighting me up. You know, he was proxy spotting me. You know. Proxy spotting me. Whether or not it was intentional or not, I haven't got a clue. But basically, I just had to deal with him. You know, if I wanted to continue my little reign of terror here, he had to go. But at the same time, there was a KV-85 behind him. I know what a KV-85 can do versus my E25. So basically, I had to make a sacrifice. I had to make a really tough decision and say, you know what, he's just got to go. You have to take him out. You know, hide behind him and just go for it, you know, because this position is just not going to work if you're continuously proxy spotted by him. And it works out in my favor, you know, that's 100%. It just falls into my lap. The stars align, etc., etc. And I take him out and I get all these lovely shots in the KV-85, and adios muchachos, Mr. KV-85. He's got all those bushes in front of him. And they're not, you know, they're not working in his favor. Basically, you know, he's not a TD. So we are 3 kills in. T25. That's my 4th kill. IS2. That's my 5th kill. Stura Emil. I don't think I get the kill. No, I don't get the kill on him. I think he manages to escape. Yeah. Type 58 is smart, and he's hiding behind that house, little house on the prairie. As you can see, we've had a fantastic game so far. Hammer, now we won our Top Gun, ARL 44, a bounce. A bounce. And there it is. Top Gun secured, absolutely. And all that's left is the Hammer, the Stura Emil, and both of these are up in the town, across the valley somewhere. And the Jagdpanzer 4, which we did not finish off, which is camping in the enemy base. So I was fully aware where everybody was, so I decided, okay, you're not going to be able to do anything from here. You need to relocate. And basically we're going into, you know, cockroach mode. We're going into hyper speed, hyper maneuverability, and I know what the hammer can do. I know what the Stura Mill can do, and compared to my E25, you know, I'm just gonna crap all over them basically. So, and at the same time, you know, there's some more kills up for grabs, absolutely. So we're gonna first we need to deal with the Stura Mill. We need to figure out where he is and take care of him before we even consider taking on the Jagdpanzer 4 or the hammer. So, and there we go, there's the Stura Mill. I cannot stop to take my shot because the hammer might take a nice big juicy shot into my butt. Need to take him out before I ram him. I don't want to ram. And there we go, I don't receive any ramming damage. We're good to go. As you can see, a fantastic game. We're down to 10 shells. Jagdpanzer 4. Let it aim in. You know, there's barely any aiming in. We're picking up kill number 8. Only one more tank. Again, the Pool's medal eludes us, you know. Slips away. Slips away. Now, which way is the hammer facing? Yes, he's facing our way. Take one more shot. That's it. Okay, we're done. You know, we're done. I'm out. You know, I'll only take another shot at you if your gun's pointing the other way. But I'm not gonna duke it out with you. And finally, you know, his turret does swing to deal with the TD. And yes, please, thank you very much. I'll take my 9 kill, even though you don't get a special medal when you get 9 kills. So I hope you guys enjoyed my take on my E25, how I play it. Picking up in this game, mastery, 4k damage, 9 kills, and 2.1 base XP. This is how I play my E25. There's, you know, loads of different other ways you can play the tank. Absolutely, you could be far more aggressive, 100%. You can play it as a scout. You could play it, you know. You can have a different equipment to improve that rate of fire, but anyhow, this is how I play my E25. The most fun tank in the game, in my personal opinion. Take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos.